Well, food security and sustainability critical to the region at this time with border closure due to COVID-19. It's a key issue for regional leaders. Our Julian Reed discusses the matter with representative in the Bahamas for the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, Dr. Michelle Singh.
We see that CARICOM leaders are talking about food security, as they must be. How big a threat is the COVID-19 impact on our food security and access to food, really?
Well, CARICOM has anticipated some fallout in terms of food supply, especially as major food-producing countries have now shut their doors to exports. So a lot of countries have food in stock. In the Bahamas, I believe we have about 3 to 4 months worth of food. But it is going to have a ripple effect at some point in time, and we need to prepare for it. It was that important that CARICOM prepared a COVID-19 agri-food response and mitigation strategy, which of course Prime Minister Minnis alluded to in his speech on Sunday. So what I have in my hand are some results from an FAO, a Food and Agriculture COVID-19 Food Impact Survey. And I just want to share some of the results with you. And this was based on data that was collected in each country. So it's a collective response by individuals, not governments, but individuals, on how they have been managing to access food and their challenges. As a matter of fact, 20% of the people who did the survey indicated that they are eating less preferred foods. What does that mean? It means that people are now looking at alternatives or substitutes to make meals that they would have otherwise not used. 16% of the persons skipped meals, and 1% of the people went an entire day without eating a meal.
Oh, well, that's not good news at all. Do you think, though, that how can countries in the region come together a little bit more to help each other out, though, in this way?
Right. So a number of strategies have been proposed, both at the regional level and they've also made recommendations at the national level. At the regional level, they've called for the formation of that National Food Emergency Task Force that the PM alluded to, with key players and subject matter specialists. And in the Bahamas, I believe that is well underway in being formed. And I'm very happy to see that the focus is on the agri-food sector, and the Ministry of Agriculture obviously has a very, very important role to play in that. So they've advocated for that formation, as well as for consideration to regional trade. A lot of Caribbean countries are heavily dependent on American imports. In fact, it's directly reflected in the incidence of non-communicable diseases. So what we are trying to do is get countries to identify what are their major food basket items. And this is across the region. It's going to be different for every single country in the region. Identify your major food basket items, identify those items that can be grown locally, and based on consumption, target those items to be produced locally. As in the case of the Bahamas, as far as I'm concerned, 2 of your major consumptions are rice and chicken. Rice may not be able to be grown here in the Bahamas. In fact, we don't have a history of rice production, but you have had a history of poultry production, and table eggs. So form your task forces, identify your food basket items, but also encouraging member states to look at their trade policies as it relates to regional trade.
So really, at the end of the day, this could really strengthen our agricultural industries, couldn't it?
Definitely. It is going to shine some light on regional sustainability.
Could it also lead to us adopting, healthier lifestyles and healthier attitudes toward eating?
It will have to. A lot of the countries, in fact, most of the Caribbean has grown accustomed to having a large distance from their food. And I say that to say, many of us eat highly processed foods. What this is going to cause us to do now is eat foods closer to its production point. which means we would be having access to healthier, more nutritious food options.